Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of You Get What You Get. I'm Rick Hampton with my great friends Tree McDougal and Tim Turner coming to you on a Tuesday evening. Hope everybody's doing well. As always, it's very good to see you two. Hope your day has gone well. How's everybody?
Well, my day's gone pretty good. I'm training for a full marathon in November, and so just been out there trying to make those miles. But before that, I'll be racing Tim at the Peachtree Road Race in Atlanta. Tim, how's your training going?
It's going really well. I've gotten it down to a science, but it's been crazy here in Atlanta today. We had
Heard.
shooting downtown where 4 people got shot, and then had our own version of Speed, where somebody commandeered a Gwinnett County bus and drove it from downtown out here to my neighborhood. It was like this, slow speed chase. It seemed like you see this bus hitting cars and moving them out the way, and it looked kind of crazy. But yeah, they got the dude. He was in handcuffs, but by the time it ended about 5 o'clock, so it's Atlanta's interesting.
I stepped away for a few moments and came back to all this news about Atlanta, and I'm like, what the heck?
They were just like they were just hot and bothered about the 4 shooting downtown. Then all of a sudden you see a helicopter over this bus flying down the streets. Like, okay. So yeah.
Usually the downtown, of course, as we all know, shootings take place anywhere, anytime now. But usually the downtown areas in metropolitan cities like Atlanta and I know here in Detroit, cops are everywhere.
Well, this place is
Congress.
It's a food court in downtown Atlanta. It's an underground food court is where it happened.
Okay.
I'm thinking somebody got the order wrong. That's where the people's heads are in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Got the wrong mustard, that kind of stuff. People just get off on you.
You never know what set somebody off. Set it off. So nuts.
When I lived in New Orleans and when summer set in and that heat and humidity, man, you better not bump into anybody. That might be, hey, we got to go down. Why you bump into me as hot as I am, man? I'm like, everybody's irritable.
It's the truth. There's a friend of mine who was talking about being in New Orleans, and some kid hit this guy's car with his Frisbee and got shot at.
Damn.
Come on, y'all. Okay.
Ricky, I'm always thinking about that now. I went to the Rolling Stones concert last Friday in Atlanta. But as I was preparing to get ready, I was like, okay, let me get some shoes that I can run in in case I got to run. All this stuff. It's going through my head. I'm like, I got to be ready. Head on a swivel.
So
have to think that way.
How's Mick? Is he still getting it in?
Oh my God. Yes. I had no idea that he was 80. I wasn't even thinking about that. And then I got somebody mentioned it to me and I was thinking, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the concert from Detroit over the weekend. The opening of the reopening of the Grand Central Station. I mentioned to you guys last week. Eminem, Diana Ross.
What?
It was really tremendous. But let me tell you, Diana's 80 years old, but that sister still got presence. And she rolled onto the stage in all orange. All you could see was a big orange ball. And she opens up, I'm coming out.
Oh, man.
I got the word, and everybody was jamming. I'm like, wow. 80 years old, going strong. Go ahead, sister. I ain't got nothing but love for you. So, yeah, it's summertime. It is summertime. And Tim, I know you guys in Atlanta don't know how to act. The Braves are actually struggling.
They are absolutely they're just average this year. They stink. They're like 9 games back of the Phillies, but they're still like 7 games up in the wild card, which gives you an idea how awful everybody else is. They're like 10 games above 500, but they're not the juggernaut that they were. But the year they won the World Series, they were like 10 back, and the guys for some radio doofus in New York declared the East over, and then the Braves came back and kicked booty. But as we speak, my phone buzzes, and it's a final from Baltimore. Orioles 4, Braves nothing.
Hey, but you know what? This might be good for them to kind of ease in there like that, because they always have such expectations.
Why do they stink, Tim? You said they stink. What's up?
Nobody's hitting anything. Case in point, shutout today, 0 runs. They lost when I quit listening to them. They'd already left 7 guys on base, 6 of them in score position. They've been pretty awful. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Nationals. Took a bus 30-something miles north, and they're playing I think a 2 or 3 game series in Baltimore. Baltimore played in Tampa last night. They had to fly last night home to come kick this booty. Braves are already chilling and got beat 4-0. So,
well, man, I mean, you lose a guy like Acuna, that's not going to help you.
Well, they lost their MVP of last year for the league. They lost their number 1 starter like the first month of the season, and there's only one dude hitting, and it's Marcell Ozuna. The rest of the team is just straight up trash, night in and night out. I think the problem is last year I was not able to watch the regular season at all because of my cable, because of my streaming situation. This year I've been watching games, and they've been getting beat down. So I'm cutting out that streaming service that shows the Braves at this month to see what happens.
So you're cutting it out? Oh, because
I didn't watch them last year. All I would see was getting these alerts on my watch and my phone when they hit home runs and score runs.
Do you have is it Bally?
Well, I had Xfinity, but I got tired of being robbed by them, so I went to YouTube TV. I got them because they had the MLB package in Bally's, and about a month before the season during spring training, MLB and Bally's both bolted YouTube TV. Only somebody that has it now is Fubo, and Fubo is great, except if you want to watch anything that is Turner or Time Warner, because they don't do TBS, TNT, none of those channels.
That's why I can't watch television.
Yeah,
it's too much. Got to go here for this. Got to go this network for this, and just
you're piecemealing it with these different stream services. Essentially,
screw it.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that about not watching the Braves. There's a huge controversy here in Detroit involving Valley Sports, which had their package yanked by Xfinity.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tigers are actually decent for the Tigers. They're a couple of games over 500, and nobody can watch them. Well, you can watch them on the app, but the app sucks. So,
for which network, Ricky?
It's called Valley Sports.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't watch the Braves on the Bally's app here. But you can watch the Hawks and the Nashville Predators hockey team and the Carolina Hurricane, but you can't watch the Braves.
The hometown team.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
You know, it just kind of sounds like who's on first, what's on,
It is, absolutely. You got to find out who's doing what. And it's like, it's not worth it.
So, but you know what? That's something
you got to do. You got to find it, right?
But I'm waiting till the fall because I think that that is a streaming bundle with a bunch of like major sports networks. I think like ESPN and Fox and some other folks are going to all band together and do like just a streaming of sports service. Once they do that, I won't see MSNBC anymore.
We are going to that. Think about you can YouTube has the NFL package now. Mm-hmm. It's going to be where you paying for some of these games. Well, we've been watching. Hey, there you go. Hey, there you go. I think I hear my guy on the roof right now. Hooking me up. Oh, hey, get you a hookup.
Well, it's going to happen, especially with this thing. It's like a dead man walking thing. The last couple of weeks watching inside the NBA at TNT, because it looks like that they're going to lose out, and that it's going to be an NBC and Amazon and I think somebody else are going to do the NBA, which means, Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Chuck will be no more after next season, if it holds true.
Yeah.
And that's going to be that's a big loss. I think that those four are largely responsible for the resurgence of the NBA in terms of how it's covered. They make it fun, they make it really good, and it's like, ESPN knows. I'm not saying anything that's out of school. ESPN's pre-game shows, halftime, any kind of iteration they have of NBA is trash, straight up garbage.
I watched after having watched Ernie and Shaq, and then I watched ESPN. I was like, this is so sad. It's not good.
The ratings are terrible for
it's
this
not good.
current
I didn't even watch
finals run. The ratings have been bad.
Nobody.
No, go ahead, Tim.
No matter who they put out there, they rotated folks in and out of there. They had that Bill Simmons dude on there for a while, but every time he got on there, everything tangentially led back to the Boston Celtics. He's a guy from Boston. The Celtics were the greatest things ever. So he'd be talking about French fries, and he'll find a way to find some way that will be tangentially located to the Bob Cousy.
What's wrong with that?
Pardon me?
What's wrong with tying it back to the Celtics?
Everything is not like
You got against.
She's riding high, Tim. She's riding high.
Yeah, that's good, but you deserve that because right now, Luka said it the other day. They got too many good players. Drew Holiday right now is the MVP.
Oh my God!
Of the final because Tatum is off, and other guys are contributing. Yeah, but you expect your superstar to do something. But Drew, defensively, offensively, White's playing well. Old Al Horford playing well.
Why do you keep talking about Al Horford? He's 38. Give him a break.
38 in dog years, cut him in half. But he's playing great. Everybody that they roll out there, Porzingis is like a new person. He's been outstanding. So
didn't he limp off the court the other day? Is he okay?
He got hurt and didn't return.
Yeah, he probably won't play game 3.
No,
They're gonna probably
it's not like they need him. So they've been outstanding without him.
But you know what?
When he came back, Go ahead, Ricky.
The playoffs had been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed them, watching all these fresh faces, the Timberwolves, and watching Luka do his thing, and but all of a sudden it's like you hit a brick wall with all this time off between the series, man, and now it just seems like you almost forget they got a finals going on. It took them 10 days. Boston was out off 10 days before they played before game 1. And I know they swept. I forgot who they played. They swept. But
Minnesota?
No, Boston swept. No,
in the East. I'm sorry. Indianapolis.
Indy. Yeah, they swept Indy. So, yeah. So now that I think they really lost momentum with these series, and it's going to be interesting to see what the ratings are going forward.
See, the ratings aren't so bad. Maybe the ratings for those pregame and postgame shows, because as we say once again, they're garbage. The game 2 was the most watched game in 5 years. So there are eyeballs on that game Sunday night. For sure.
Game 2 was okay.
Yeah, so that was the most watched in 5 years. So there's something to that. People want to see the Celtics. People want to see Dallas.
And maybe people tuning in like, just tell me what time tip-off is.
Oh, hey, that's what I want to do. It's like, okay, I'm not trying to listen to anybody pontificate as to what they think is going to happen and then it not happen. They're not in the locker room. They know nothing. I guess I'm a person of a certain age where I no longer watch a lot of the pregame show things. I don't care about all these stories, these life stories, these hard luck things. Just roll the ball out there and let's play.
But don't you think the Mavs look tired though?
Oh, Luka, yeah, it's like he's got to carry the team by himself. Kyrie has done nothing this series, nothing. He needs, and Luka needs help
He wore some awesome moccasin sneakers, and I love the story behind that.
Well, you tell the story. I thought he was doing lost a bet to a tribe. Tell me what the deal is.
Well, it's my understanding that his mother, he found out, was Native American, and so the sneaker. Why are you shaking your head? Let me finish.
No,
You roll your eyes before I can even finish. It's what I read was his mother. He found out his mother was Native American, and so from the tribe that she was on, it has to do with that. I think they might have gifted him sneakers or something. I don't know. But as old people say, don't get me to lying.
I'm not shaking my head about that. I'm just thinking about he's always just extra. He's just too cool. It's always something. The earth is flat. The world's run by Jews. I got moccasins. It's always something with him.
But and we're going to talk more about the finals with our good friend Derek Gervin, former Nets shooting guard, is going to join us in a couple of minutes and help us break down the finals. But Kyrie got problems, man. Boston got 2 all-defensive guards in Drew Holiday and Derek White. Derek White was what a story he is. He was not highly recruited. He had 1 scholarship offer, and he worked that thing. And now he's an established NBA player. And I don't know when his contract is up, but he's gonna make some coin.
Yes, sir.
You think about Hurley's decision, skipping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
I
didn't think he was going. Did you guys think he was going? If so, they would have announced it early.
No, I didn't think he was going.
No, I never thought that. This was totally a contract leverage play.
Yeah.
That's all it was. You go up there, you give the pretense of what you're going to do it, but it's like Stores, Connecticut, Hollywood. Stores, Connecticut, Hollywood. And the thing about it is, I think probably the deciding factor was he didn't make the decision. Somebody else in the house made that decision.
Yeah.
We're not moving. We staying here.
Did you see what the governor said?
Huh?
Governor of Connecticut said, we're going to make sure he's the highest paid college basketball player coach in the country. The governor of Connecticut
said to have friends in high places.
Forget those potholes. Forget those school lunches.
They don't need none of that.
This man is paid.
Teachers, no, forget y'all.
I want to bring our guest on now, and great friend. I happen to do a show with Derek on Thursdays. We call it As Good as It Gets with former Nets shooting guard Derek Gervin. And Derek, man, it's hard for me to keep my mouth closed, man, about news. My mom always said, television, telephone, tell Ricky, and he'll blab all the news. I'm gonna try to keep this down, but I'm just so excited for you, brother. And I told Tree and Tim, but we're gonna try to keep it under wraps. But we're so proud and so excited for you, man.
Wow, thank you. I'll just say thank you. Thank you to Tim. Thank you, Miss Tree. I appreciate it. And I really do sincerely. I'm a happy guy.
So for those people who just turning in who don't know, go ahead and tell us.
Well, I was asked to keep it under wraps, but it's been hard for me. I got a call last week from my school, UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio. And I've already had my jersey retired, but they called me a few days ago, and now they're going to put me in these UTSA Hall of Fame. So I got a little emotional. Thank you, Ricky. I was just first thing I thought about was my mom, of course. But of course she's smiling down on us. But I mean, they talk about legacy. That's something that they could never take away from me. So the fact that they even called me and wanted to put me in the Hall of Fame, I thought it was fantastic. And man, I'm blessed. That's all I can say.
Well deserved, for sure.
Evidently, you know a little bit of something about some baskbasketball, because I thought you were going to keep it a secret. I was going to tell folks you won the Nobel Prize, but okay.
Well, I'll take that.
Maybe that's next.
Hopefully that's in the future. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to let that go, but So we got there for basketball, and you are the resident expert. What has been your take on the first two games of this finals?
Well, it's going according to how I expected, to be honest. You're looking at Boston, which is a team, and it's been the same all season. I know that Dallas got on the run. They played well when they had incorporated Derek Jones and Daniel Gafford and P.J. Washington. But I just always thought that they were good role players. But if you look at Boston, you're talking about a team. And we haven't seen a team as complete as Boston on both ends of the court in quite a while. They have guys that could defend one-on-one. And, that's always important. If you look at Dallas, they have to play team defense because Kyrie and Luka aren't really defensive stoppers. And that's been hurting them. And then on the other side, you got guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who are their two best players, but they don't always have to play great as far as scoring points offensively. And I think that's been the difference. You're looking at what a team against individuals. And I think that's been the biggest difference. And I expect that to continue.
Well, yeah, it's like it's 2-on-5 essentially. And Luka says, I need help. It's really 1-on-5 because Kyrie hasn't done anything yet in the series. So,
well, PJ Washington has actually been that second guy. If you really look at it, PJ's played well. He's gotten to the bucket and scored some big baskets. But I hope people understand it's not that Kyrie is all of a sudden forgot how to shoot the basketball. And the reason I say that is I can go back to Anthony Edwards. Did Anthony Edwards all of a sudden start forgetting how to shoot the ball? Did Jamal Murray all of a sudden forget how to shoot the ball? No. Defense is what's making these guys get a little bit outside, out of their comfort zone. And when you look at Kyrie, you already got a Boston plays really good team defense. Porzingis has been playing well. But for Kyrie, you got a guy who I call his kryptonite, and that's Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday can stay in front of Kyrie. Kyrie, they try to get switches so that either Porzingis ends up on him or sometimes even Jaylen Brown and these other guys, but Derek White as well. But the one guy that can stay in front of Kyrie is Drew Holiday. And if people don't know, if you can stop Kyrie, he likes to jab step on the perimeter and all that, and he might pull up, just shoot the jump shot without any dribbles, or he'll get you through the legs and all of that. Drew Holiday is a guy that's equipped to deal with all of that. And that's why Kyrie is struggling so much. It's not so much the team defense. It's just that Drew Holiday is one of the best one-on-one defenders I've ever seen in my entire time of watching basketball.
And he's just a stopper.
Say it again, Tim.
He's a stopper, and then more so than that, he's always been known for his defense, but now he's like a spot-up three taker in their offense. When Tatum is not hitting, others got not hitting, they find him over in the corner somewhere. Nobody's bothering him because that's not what he does until he does it.
I was with my lady the other night watching the game, right? And I'm gonna tell you, this is what I think about Boston. You remember they inbounded the ball before halftime with like 3.2 seconds left. Boston did. And I told I told the lady they're going to score at the buzzer. And I'm being honest. And then what happens? Peyton Pritchard shoots it from half court and banks it in. So that's the kind of team they are. That's what they've had. That's what they've been all year. We know they've blown some big leads. But if you look at it, they've also had some big leads. They won 19 games this season of 25 points or more. And that's the kind of team they've been all year. So they've had some lulls, I'll call them. But if you look at it overall, they've been a tough team to beat all season. And I expect that to continue even in Dallas.
Hey, Derek, what do you think about Al Horford, Tim's least favorite player?
I love him because he's a proven veteran and he's a smart guy. If you look at it, he brings in other intangibles that are not just basketball. He's a calming presence in the locker room. He's a team player. A lot of people remember even when he was at Florida playing with Mr. Noah. Mr. Noah was a hothead, but you have guys like Al Horford that can reel him in. And when you have guys like that have been in the fire, I mean, it's a common presence on the floor, and it's a common presence in the locker room. So I was a big Tito Horford fan. So to see his son play at this level as a 37-year-old, for me, is spectacular. And it's not surprising either. The guy's he's a proven winner.
I'm gonna say Tree is only saying that in jest. He's a former Atlanta Hawk, and I forget when you're saying a winner, he won back-to-back titles at Florida, right? I think that's what the deal. So this is like his first opportunity to do it in the NBA. So I'm just saying this playoff reminds me that Al Horford was once an Atlanta Hawk, and then they did a little piece on Luka, who's been playing the bench against grown men since he's 13. And I like to just keep saying, it's just a reminder that my Hawks have Trae Young. that draft night swap just kills me every time he does something.
Trey, well, you know what? The thing about Luka that's kind of disappointing is I know the NBA wants to market players, and they keep trying to look for a face of the league, even though I believe he's down here in San Antonio. But Luka has been scoring points, but he's not helping the team because the first game he had 1 assist. And then if you look at the last game, in game 2, he had 32 points. He had a triple-double, which everyone is talking about, including the young guys that I coached last night at practice. But then I had to remind them, he scored 32 points, but he had 8 turnovers that contributed to 21 Boston points. And so that's going to hurt them. He's holding the ball too long, and it's affecting their offense. It's not getting – the other guys are not getting in the rhythm. And that's part of the reason they're not hitting shots. Kleber, who's a really good shooter, he's been shooting terrible. If you look at it, Boston's been leaving him open. Maxi Kleber. Tim Hardaway has not been playing very much. He gets in. If he misses a shot or two, they take him out the game. Derek Lively. Yeah, they haven't been playing.
Last game. So
then look at Derek Lively. Go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah, Lively's playing like a rookie right now.
Look how he played phenomenal in the Minnesota series. He played phenomenal, and now he's looking like he's in over his head.
Yeah. Hey Derek. Now Boston's up 2-0, but I was just reading before we came on the air. Porzingis is going to probably be out. I'm sure he's going to be out game 3. He has a dislocation of a tendon in his left leg.
In his leg, yeah.
You know, he was really, I've never seen him on the defensive end being so active, blocking shots. How does Dallas turn this around? Can they turn this around? And certainly if they don't have Porzingis, that helps Dallas.
Oh, man, that's a tough one because right after the game was over, I said that it depended on – I still think that they could still win the series with him sitting out a game. But, of course, it only takes an injury or one game to turn the series around. I still think Boston has enough to win the series. But now they're going to have to – Horford's been in the starting lineup. They've been bringing Porzingis off the bench the first 2 games. But now they're going to have to bring in Luke Kornet and play him more. But the difference is Kornet is not really an offensive threat. He's a guy that's just I would call him a dirty. He does the dirty stuff around the basket. So he's not the guy that you're going to be giving the ball to at the elbow, at the free throw area, like Porzingis to let him go one-on-one. And he's not a guy that's going to spread the floor, shoot the threes like Porzingis. But for me, the only way Dallas can get back in it is to change their offense and start getting the other guys more involved. If they can do that, then I'll see Derek Lively and all these other guys, PJ, they'll start playing with more life. And that would give them a chance to get back in the series. But it does, for me, it depends on Porzingis. If he can come back in game 4, I still think Boston wins the series in 5. But if he can't come back, I still think Boston wins it in 6. I just can't see Dallas beating them 4 out of the next 5 games or 4 in a row. I just can't see that.
And Luka's not healthy either. He's got to get a shot.
Say who, Ricky?
Luka is going to have to take in. Says he's going to get an injection before game 3. So
you got some. Well, Luka, man, they keep saying Luka's hurt and all that, but he is only hurt on defense because he certainly doesn't look hurt on offense. He's getting in. Well, you know, he put on the flak jacket and all that so the people could see all that. Man, I'm not falling for any of that. As soon as the game starts, he shooting turnaround jump shots. First play of the game. It's hard to do that if you're hurting, your ribs are hurting, and all that kind of stuff. His problem is he refuses to guard on the defensive end, and you see they've been going at him one-on-one. Some of his defense has actually been atrocious. And when I say that, he's not even putting in the effort. Guys are blowing by him. And, you know, that factors, that filters down to the rest of the team, because when your best player is not giving his all, and then you got guys that never been there before, it can affect them in a negative way. And I think that's what's really happened to them. They seem like they're, you look at them, they just seem like they were dropping their heads in the last game. And I know you guys saw Derek Lively at one point when they went to the bench. He just looked like, oh, boy, whatever can go wrong will. And a lot of that is just because of their effort. So if Luka could come out and compete more defensively and Kyrie can compete more defensively, then I think their shots will start to fall. But that's not something they've been accustomed to doing, you know, not over the course of the year. It's playing defense the entire 48 minutes.
Well, it's a lack of maturity, too, on the part. You know, Luka, you get up there and see him. He acts like people don't have cameras or don't have cable. I don't understand with him. You know, he's jawing with the owner of the Celtics during the game. And in the postgame, they asked him about him doing it. He says, oh, I wasn't talking to anybody. I just saw him look over to the man after he made a basket, look over to him and say something to him. Yeah. You know, and he plays like somebody's immature. He handles the ball too much. And I guess it's like around when it gets around 8 seconds, that's when he starts looking for his teammates. You know, he dribbles out the first 16 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you got Kyrie. I think this playing in Boston really affected Kyrie. The crowd kind of got to him. And the reason I say that is because when they were talking and getting on him, he responded. And then you remember when the game was over, he was telling everybody, I'll see y'all in game 5. So he's talking to the crowd. His focus now needs to be strictly on making his team better. And so, you know, that kind of surprised me since he's won the championship and he's played with LeBron. As long as he's been in the league, I'm surprised that the fans would affect him like that. If you all remember, he stepped on the logo, kind of like Terrell Owens did in Dallas.
With the star, yeah.
Yes, and they haven't beaten Boston one game since then. Since he's played Boston since then, they're 0-12.
Wow.
Leave that leprechaun alone.
Well, that's what they say. Right. Don't poke the bear.
Yeah.
Hey, D, do you think? Well, I'm sure Milwaukee misses Drew Holiday, because I agree. Tim mentioned earlier he thinks Drew Holiday is the MVP of the series, and I totally agree with him. But when Milwaukee made that trade to bring in Dame Lillard, and sent Drew Holiday away, clearly they were better with Drew because they won a title, although there is an asterisk here because Giannis was hurt. How did that play out with those two teams?
If you remember, Ricky, when they made that trade, there's not one time this season you've seen me post anything about Milwaukee being one of my title favorites. You gave up a guy who's really has potential to be a Hall of Famer. When you talk about Drew Holiday is one of the most underrated players that's ever played the game. And that's on both ends of the floor. He can do whatever you need him to do. If you need him to rebound, he can rebound. You need him to get a deflection, he can do that. You need him to get a steal, he can do that. There's nothing that he can't do on the basketball floor. And it saddens me that people don't talk about that more. And then if you look at the other side, Dame came in, you know, unfamiliar territory, having to make a big adjustment after being in Portland all those years. The team that basically took care of him, made him a rich man, financially secure forever. And then you have to uproot and move to unfamiliar territory, Milwaukee. And now you got your family has to adjust. We know he was going through some personal things with his wife, and he wasn't getting to see his kids. All of that affected them. But I just think when you take away Drew, you take a guy, man, Drew just brings so much and so many intangibles to the team. And I think that's what hurt them the most. And I think that's what's helped Boston. Drew, just like the last game, the man had 26 points and 11 rebounds, and he's playing stellar defense on Kyrie Irving. You don't find those kind of guys every day.
I think the key word you said about both of those players is adjust. Drew Holiday has adjusted to what his new role is in Boston. Dame was kind of like just square peg, round hole with their Milwaukee offense, trying to find out a balance between he and Giannis and how they're going to make that work. And it really didn't.
Yeah.
I remember be talking about him though. You said it's a shame people aren't talking about Holiday, but I think you probably hear a lot more about him now during the series.
Oh yeah.
He's going
but
to
Milwaukee. I'm sorry, Rick. Milwaukee never would have won without him. He was the common presence on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Middleton has not been the same the last few years since he suffered his injury. But you have a guy like Drew. He's that common presence, like I was talking about Al Horford. Yeah. So a guy like him is making it easier for Jason Tatum, because a lot of people have been getting on Jason Tatum now because he's not shooting the ball well, and they're talking about his legacy if he doesn't get MVP basically. And I don't care if he gets MVP or not. To me, it does not affect his legacy if they win the championship, because even the last game he shot terrible, but he still had 12 rebounds, I believe, and like 9 assists or something like that. So he's defending. So he's contributing in different ways. But guys like Drew Holiday in your ear talking to you, and a proven winner, another proven winner, guys like those are common presence. And I think that's why he's helping Boston so much. Things that don't go on the stat sheet.
Like this particular play does not go on the stat sheet. It's from the last series against Indiana. He got switched on to Indiana's Miles Turner in the post. I think I told you about this, Derek. Miles Turner 7 foot, 7'1", Drew 6'4". Miles got him on the block. By the time Drew got through with him, he was 20 feet from the basket, man. How you let a 6'4" guard push you out there?
Ricky, I'm laughing because last night I was showing the guys that were at practice, right? Showing them about how aggressive play can make a guy kind of get outside of himself. So I decided to go out and guard one of my players last night. We start off at the top of the key. And I showed them they don't use their hands enough. Really in basketball, one hand is to block the shot or affect the shot, and the other hand is to steal the ball. And so I showed the guy. So I started guarding a young man last night, and he's 15. By the time the play was over, he was right near the half court line. So it's the same thing with Drew. Drew, he has leverage on a guy like Miles Turner. He's strong enough to get on Miles Turner's legs. And, guys like Jimmy Butler is the one guy that gave Drew trouble, because Jimmy's strong enough to get around that basket on Drew and to protect that ball. If you remember, Jimmy scored 55. All 55 weren't on Drew, but a lot of them were last year. And so, but Drew is a guy, he doesn't care if you're big or small. He's going to fight you. And Ricky, Miles Turner is not the most physical guy. He's more like a Karl Anthony Towns. He's like Karl Anthony Towns. That's the perfect guy for me. They both prefer to shoot the jump shot from the 3-point line, and they don't post up very often. So he's made for a guy like Drew.
He wanted no part of that action with Drew Holiday in the post. I'm like, dude, you 7 foot.
Hey, Ricky, it's hard to dribble on him. It's hard to put that ball on the floor with Drew, because you always have to be looking over your back. You know what kind of remind me of, Tim? You remember Alvin Robertson?
Yes.
Man, guys were so scared. When I scored 55 points on Alvin Robertson down here in the Summer League, I knew I could score on anybody in the world. And so it's the same with Drew, the same mentality. We've heard about the Tony Allens and the Ron Artests and all these guys. Drew is a different animal, different body type, but the guy can move his feet. And that gives a lot of these guys trouble, including some big guys. And that Miles Turner, if you really look at his game, he's not really a big guy. He's a guy that prefers to shoot jump shots.
Hey, D, before we let you go, man, I want to ask you about this situation out in L.A. Where they can't give away that job. One of the premier franchises in the NBA can't find a coach.
Well, I'm a Danny Hurley fan. Well, as they call him now, Dan Hurley. I know about his family. Bob Hurley Sr. and then Bobby, of course. And I was playing in New Jersey, so I know about their family, their basketball pedigree. And he made the right decision, Ricky. First, they lowballed him with the 6 years, $70 million. I think that was lowballing him. If nothing else, he should be making more than Monty Williams, who I love as a friend. But I just thought $11.6 million was really a slap in the face. And then you have to deal with the LeBron drama and possibly the Bronny drama and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't think he wanted to go from a team that's won back-to-back championships and has an opportunity to be the first team to win 3 in a row since the John Wooden days. I didn't think at the end of the day, I didn't think he wanted to go and step into that nonsense that's going on. Who's running that team? We still don't know. Is it Jeannie Buss? Is it Rob Pelinka? Is it Kurt Rambis and his wife? Is it Magic Johnson? No coach that's been winning has had success wants to step into that. There's too many question marks. And for me, I think he made a great decision to stay loyal to the University of Connecticut. And I'm sure they're going to pretty much roll out the Brinks truck pretty soon for him.
Well, you talk about college, you mentioned him in college basketball. You want to probably just think about the biggest women's college basketball star is playing in Indiana right now. And all the hoopla about her not making the Olympic basketball team. Do you think it's that big of a deal that Caitlin Clark didn't make the Olympic basketball team?
Not a deal for me because I had to tell people, and a lot of people are, I call them worshipers. They're almost like cult worshipers out here, and I won't even go into that, but it reminds me of the same thing. They picked their best 12 that fit together. And that's what the Olympics is about. The Olympics is not about popularity. We're trying to win our 8th gold medal in a row. And for me, they picked the perfect 12 people. I think maybe one other person could have made it. Arik Ogunbowale. Arik Ogunbowale. Yeah. For me, she's the only other one that I thought could maybe move someone out like a Diana Taurasi. But I just don't think Caitlin's ready now. Caitlin is a volume shooter. And if you see, Caitlin gets bumped around a lot. And she's not physically strong enough yet. She will get more acclimated, next season and all that. But right now, you're looking at her now. They don't have time to be worried about, interviews, and all the interviews are about Caitlin Clark. That's not what the Olympics is about. The Olympics is about team and going out and securing the gold medal. So she's going to continue to get better. But this wasn't about her. I think they made fantastic decisions. And, her time will come. And then let me say real quickly about Diana Taurasi, because some people had a problem with that. Yeah. Diana Taurasi has proven. Well, do you know the name Jerry Ice Reynolds? Ricky, you remember Jerry Ice Reynolds? I had to tell him about an hour ago that this was the smart decision. He wants Caitlin on the team. So that means he's just looking at the publicity and all of that. They're not worried about the publicity. They're going to get publicity anyway. These gyms are selling out. And it's not just when Caitlin's playing. The other games are selling out as well. But this is about the team. Diana Taurasi is a proven veteran. She's proven what she can do. Brittany Griner has proven what she can do. And that's what the Olympics is about. You want people that have been in the fire. They don't have time for the Caitlin stuff going on. They want to keep all of that negativity out of there, and they want to focus on winning the gold medal. So I think it was a great, they made the right decision. Caitlin will get her chance.
Well, I'll argue 1 or 2 points. Go ahead, Treat. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, didn't I say something about her potentially being a backup, Clark?
Alternate.
But why, Ms. Tree? I mean, but why? What has she done to earn it?
I don't have an answer for that. I'm just asking. I don't think so.
She's shooting 37%. She just had 10 points the other day, 3 points, not too many games in front before that. You have to earn your way in there. They're not going to, they come to, it's like, look at the men. Put it this way. You know who Orlando, I go to Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero. So if it comes down to a young guy like that and LeBron James, the proven veteran, who are they going to take for the Olympics? They're going to take LeBron James. Yep. It's not about popularity. It's about winning the gold medal for the country.
Okay, so back up for a hot second. Just let me go back into the Wayback Machine. Okay, we got beat in Seoul in '88, right? The men's team. Because we're tired of our amateurs getting beat by professionals. So we get up there and do the dream team in '92, right?
Yes.
They had a choice of 2 collegiate players to put on that team. And they went with Christian Laettner
instead of Shaq.
Over Shaq.
Oh, and I know very well.
You had Larry Bird say, I thought we were supposed to pick the best college player. When that happened. So, but that was a political thing, evidently. You know, they already had the star-studded team. So there is some politics that go into this because there's nowhere in the world the best college player was Christian Laettner.
Yeah, but if you look at this, if you put Caitlin on the team, and then you remember I heard Miss Tree say about her being, coming off the bench and all that. So then you just put her in the game. People complaining she didn't play enough. She didn't take enough shots. The coach didn't look at her enough. That's not what they want. That's why they didn't choose her. And her play has not merited her being on your Olympic team. Are there any other rookies on the Olympic team? No. So why should she be the first when she hasn't earned it? The Olympics is about earning your spot, and she'll get her chance. But as of right now, she hasn't earned it.
And every time I hear somebody say somebody will get another opportunity, I think of one dude, Drazen Petrovic, okay? Chuck Daly left him off the All-Star team. And he said, don't worry, Drazen will have a lot more opportunities to make All-Stars. That summer, he was killed in an auto accident. So,
well, that's life too. That kind of stuff happens. But you can't base your decision. But they can't base their decision when they're in there trying to put a team together of Caitlin might get killed because Caitlin's only. What about the rest of the women in the league? She's no more. That's the problem. She's no more important. The league has been going on 28 years.
Well, she's not commercial. She ain't worried about getting killed. She got her insurance thing taken care of.
This is what she can do if she wants to play that. She can go play. She can go play for Italy if she wants to play that bad. She has an opportunity to play for Italy. The U.S. is about TEAM, and there's no team. Caitlin is an individual, and she's going to be a really good player. But if you look at it right now, she's not even the best rookie. So she's going to get her opportunity. But right now, it's about putting together the best team. And I think they did that. The team that fits together the best. Chemistry is what it's about. It's not about individual interviews about Caitlin Clark. It's about the players and what are they going to do and how do they come together to win another gold medal.
Okay, so if we're keeping score, Derek Gervin is against Caitlin being on the on the Olympic team, and I'm with you on that, Derek. I was bringing up the point that it's been a hubbub, but people are left off all the time. I think wasn't Barkley left off the '84 team because of Bob Knight? I mean,
Isaiah Thomas didn't make it, so yeah. I mean that right there, Isaiah didn't make it, but they're going to continue to be people that don't make it. Caitlin's done some fantastic things already. For the notoriety for women's basketball. And she's done some great things already as far as bringing publicity to the Indiana Fever. So if people are really so worried about her playing, just keep tuning in to the Indiana Fever this year and keep supporting her and the rest of the young ladies on the team. I have a friend that went to UTSA like I did a few years after me. His daughter is on that team, Alyssa Smith. And to me, Caitlin's no more important than she is. And no more important than Aaliyah Boston, who was the Rookie of the Year last year. I don't hear people talking about Aaliyah Boston making the team. So why Caitlin Clark? That's the issue I have with it. And I'm going to be honest, I don't care what her color is. She has to earn her spot.
Yeah. And there's no doubt that's some of this issue. This has been race has been injected into this whole discussion with Caitlin Clark. But you're right, when you tip that ball off on the court, man, who is your best player? It doesn't matter.
Ricky, you have people that
she's
never
not there yet, and she's not there yet.
You have people that have never watched the WNBA,
yeah.
and they're tuning in now because of Caitlin Clark. What does that tell you, Tim? And what color are they?
I would take a wild guess. They're not us.
Okay, well, there you go. So you had a lot of factors that were involved for her being left off the team, but the bottom line is to put the best 12 players together, and I think they did that.
And they did. I think with women's basketball, period, the buy-in has only been, she's only brought in that aspect of it, and that's her story. She's like the Taylor Swift of basketball for some of these folks.
Well, she whines a lot more than Taylor Swift, though. She whines like LeBron and Luka. For a rookie, that's not good. I don't want to see the whine. I'm sick of seeing this when they don't call fouls. I'm tired. That's more like that's what they do in tennis. So maybe if she can't suck it up, she's gonna have to go play tennis. But I don't like the whining. Just come out and play basketball.
Hey D, before we get out of here, and man, this show is just whizzed by. We're almost done here. Hey, a quick thought on the draft. Have you had a chance to go in deep on that yet? Everybody's complaining. If you didn't get the number 1 pick, don't worry, because if you got the top 10 pick, they're all the same players. Anybody you've seen that could be star power?
Well, you got the young man used to play with Tennessee, Connect.
Connect.
K-N-E-C-H-T.
He is awesome.
He can play. You got some Rob Dillingham from Kentucky. Is going to be a good player. But some of that is going to be predicated on them getting in the right situation, the right team. But it's not a deep draft. But every year, sometimes you don't need stars. You got a lot of good young role players that are coming in. So I'm excited for that. But there's no one that really stands out. There is a young man from France. I can't say his name right now. He's about 6'9".
Sarr or the other guy?
No, it's not Sarr.
Oh, yeah.
The young man plays like Giannis, but he has a jump shot. He's about 6'9". No, say it again, Ricky.
Montes Buzelis.
Yeah, that's him. Yes. Yeah. That kid there can play basketball. I've watched video of him. For me right now,
something must be wrong with him though, D, because the Pistons.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, but this Ricky, the NBA, man. I mean, these guys, you never know. I mean, it's a hit and miss league. So sometimes you just gotta let these guys mature. Right now, they want guys to come in and be stars right away, and that doesn't happen. If you look at it right now, there's not too many Anthony Edwards out there. You got to be patient with some of these guys. It's a good draft. It's not a great draft, but you're going to have some really good role players come out of there, just like you had last year.
Yeah, but see, when your team has the number 1 pick and it's a trash draft, it just doesn't feel good. I mean,
well, you got hopefully you got some draft capital, and if you have to make some trades, you might make some trades. The game now, if you look at it, it's moved more now. If you look at Oklahoma City and some of these teams, even Utah now with Danny Ainge, a lot of them are securing draft picks. And the reason they're doing that is because really everybody's trying to move forward to 2026 because they have a guy by the name of Cooper Flagg who's going to be in the draft. And that's what I think a lot of these teams are waiting on. So other than that, you just get your role players and hope that they can help your team. And if they don't, then you make trades and you try to bring in some stars.
But there lies, you mentioned 2 front offices. And it's like, okay, Oklahoma City stockpile draft picks and they hit just on about every person they drafted. I'm in Atlanta, where we always pick the vegetables that look good on front until you turn over and see that big old spot on the back where you know it's no good. That's us.
Tim,
yeah.
You see, they brought in Chet, and I love Chet. But Chet's not a superstar yet, and these kids coming out in the draft this year, they're not Chet Holmgren. So this kid Sar, I think he's going to be a good player, but I haven't seen any star potential other than the young man I named first, and that's Mr. Connect, because he can play basketball. He reminds me of a Keith Van Horn, a possible Detlef Shrimp type guy. So that's the guy for me. If you're talking about potentially being a star, that would be my pick.
So Derek, I like your vision for the Celtics winning the championship, but do you have a vision that the Hawks will ever have a winning team?
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do between. No, you know their biggest problem is they keep catering to Trae Young, and they have to figure out what they're gonna do as far as that DeJounte Murray and Trae Young thing, because it looked like in their mind they kind of pictured Trae Young and DeJounte as being like Luka and Kyrie or something, and that's not going to work because Trae doesn't defend. When I talk about stats, Trae Young is one of the first people I'll go to. He puts up really good stats, 25, 26 points a game, 9 or 10 assists, but it's not winning basketball. Yeah. So they're going to have to make some moves, and I believe with Quinn Snyder being there, they're going to do everything necessary to build a winning team. So, yeah, I think the Atlanta Hawks are on an upward trend, just like the Atlanta Falcons.
But the Hawks won a lot of games and Trae was hurt. And with Jonte was up there, and they found some other players, some really good role players that were doing really well. They just need, I can see them packaging that and sending it somewhere to get somebody that's really good, as opposed to wasting it on whatever big man is coming out now. The deal is with them, though, they have mortgaged their future. I think they don't have a first-round pick again for several years.
Don't y'all get offended when I say this quickly. You know why I'm kind of ticked off with Atlanta? I'm going to name 2 reasons. One is Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Trae got him fired.
The next one is Nate McMillan.
Trae got him fired.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hey, D, look, before we get out of here, man, first of all, we want to thank you and congratulate you again. And everybody knows the Gervin name in San Antonio. You guys are basketball royalty. But for you, man, to follow in the footsteps of your brother, who's a Hall of Famer, and carve out your own legacy to play in the NBA, to play overseas, win a scoring championship, to have your jersey hanging in the rafters of a major university and now be retired, that is quite a tribute to your work ethic and humility, because everybody said, whoa, that's Iceman's little brother. But you always said you embraced that.
Yeah, it made me work harder. But Ricky, I tell you this, we talk about legacy overseas in Europe, my name is just as popular as George's is in the United States. So I've had a great career. It was never about outdoing my brother. I was always proud that my mom had 2 sons that played in the NBA. It was never competition for me. So some people might have tried to make it more than it was. I'm George's younger brother. I've always been proud of that. And I've always been proud of going by the name. You know me, Ricky, very well. I'm George's brother, but I'm Derek. I tell people my mom on my birth certificate says Derek Gervin. And I'm happy with the career I had, whether George played or not. And I'm just thankful that people appreciated my game and appreciated my brother's game.
Well, now that you're in the Hall of Fame, I guess it's free churros for life down there.
I've never had a churro in my life, but I might try one this weekend just for you saying that.
All right.
And D, and you went to UTSA, but coming out of Martin Luther King in Detroit, you could have gone anywhere in the country.
Well, we moved. My family wanted me to. I was kind of rough around the edges in Detroit. I was a young guy, had my own car at 16, and I know Miss Tree's on here, so I won't do a whole lot of talking. But
hey, tell your story. Tell your story, man.
I got around in Detroit. All right, I was a ladies' guy when I was in high school, but I was going to either go to DePaul or Michigan. Those were the 2 teams I had narrowed it down to. DePaul actually came to visit me at my home. The legendary Ray Myers and his son, Joey Myers, actually came to my home. And then Michigan came to my home as well. So those were the 2 schools I narrowed it down to. But my family decided to uproot. My sister called my mom and wanted her to uproot to Texas. And George thought it would be a good idea for me as well, so I wouldn't kind of get caught up. I was living a kind of NBA lifestyle in high school, to be honest. I had money in my pocket and all that, so I needed a change of venue, I'll say. And I was glad I ended up moving down to Texas. It kind of mellowed me out. Leaving Detroit and going to Texas, man, that's like night and day. But I think it worked out for me. So I'm thanking my family. Hey, they made the right decision, and I went along with it.
Well, congratulations again on your and thank you for announcing it on You Get What You Get. You got breaking news on here.
Well, they can get mad at me, but they still gonna put me in the Hall of Fame. So yeah. I tried to keep it under wraps, but I did the best I could. But I mean, tonight, hey, I didn't mind getting it out. So here it is.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
We got to get out of here. We've actually gone over time, but I can't think of a better person to go over time with than Derek Gervin. For D. Gerv, Tim Turner, Tree McDougal, Rick Hampton.
All right, be kind, everybody. Catch you next week.
Have a good night. Stay safe out here.
All right, you too.